Hello everyone, something a bit different today. We had digital bargains yesterday. Well, how about some physical bargains? You guys have often asked us to do this, but it's always been very difficult due to not knowing how long things will be on sale for, and it's also quite often rare that different websites align with their sales. Well, today is that day. Here are some physical bargains. All links are below, they are affiliate earnings, so if you buy something, you also support us at the same time. Firstly, let's start with Red Art Games, because Red Art Games don't have a sale per se, but they are currently doing a buy two, get one free promotion on select games. All of these games are currently in stock, so they are shipping almost straight away. I personally advise you browse through all of them with the links in the description, but let me just point them out to you for the Nintendo Switch. They have Stay, pretty decent game. Neurovoider, an excellent game, very underrated. War Tech Fighters, not the best, but definitely an interesting title with mech, so that's badass. Demetrius and Xenon Valkyrie Bundle, two chalk and cheese titles, but both pretty good. Vectronom, DMT, the game. Hover, pretty cool skating exploration game. My Memory of Us, the collector's edition. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful game. Children of Zodiacs, a tactical RPG. Suicide Guy, a ridiculous but fun premise. Iron Wings, I haven't tried that one yet. Double Kick Heroes, also not tried it, but it is a metal rhythm game of sorts, so that is a cool premise. Stormfront, an old school run and gun, pretty fun. Lin, I've never played it, but it looks like a pretty chill game. Arietta of Spirits, the collector's edition, with a CD and Steam box. I'm actually going to unbox this very item in Monday's Let's Get Physical Spotlight. Sir Love-A-Lot, a bit underrated. I don't think the premise sold it to people. Decent game though. Galaxy of Pen and Paper +1, very good. Warlocks, I haven't played that one yet. Butcher, very hardcore action side-scroller, not one for the faint of heart, but satisfying nonetheless. Croiler Sigma, I showed this off last week, it's simple but very addictive. Bard's Gold, I haven't played that one. Blazing Beaks, very underrated twin-stick roguelike. Record of Lodoss War, just buy it, it's one of the best games this year. Calico, it looks dumb, but that's because it is. My daughter loves this game. Janky as hell, but she enjoys the insanity, and she's 4 years old. Gunborg, I've not played it yet, but I'll get to it soon. Mayhem Brawler, very commendable beat 'em up. If you like Streets of Rage 4, you'll probably enjoy this. And that's it, there is a lot of choice. Personally, I would advise picking up two you definitely want, and using the free one on something you've been on the fence about. You know, take a risk, it's free. And I believe our discount code SWatch10 still works, I think. So maybe you can also get 10% off as well. And please use the links in the description. Now, moving on to Video Games Plus. Again, links are below to supporters. The thing with VGP though is that their really good sale items tend not to stay available too long, so be quick and hope they're still available by the time you watch this video. Firstly, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is going for a very decent 35 Canadian dollars, which is 25 US dollars. This is one of the best games in the last few years, and although the story is a slow burn, it's something you have to experience. We did a review over on VM Paradise if you want to check it out, but really it's an essential game and that's a really good price. Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection it's a decent 25 Canadian dollars, which is 18 US dollars. Obviously, you have to keep in mind that only the first game in this triple pack is on the cartridge, which is a shame, but for me, this price would be the jumping on point for such a compromise. I wouldn't pay full price, no way. Anyways, three huge games, many say the best in the series aside from 4, and yeah, until they went like really huge with Origins and stuff like that. Catherine Full Body Edition is also 25 Canadian dollars, 18 US dollars. This is a super unique game that you tend not to see anymore from a big publisher. Atlus are more known for their RPGs, but this very weird narrative puzzle game made a lot of people fall in love with it. Personally, I've not played it, but the amount of people who have told me how good it is, then it has to be true, right? Disco Elysium is 30 Canadian dollars, which is around 22 US bucks. This is an absolute bona fide classic, a detective style adventure RPG. It's a wonderful world building game that will suck you in with the amount of effort put into it, with the writing and stuff. This is the definitive edition and it's fully voice acted. For $22 in US dollars, you can't go wrong at all. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope may be a new game, but that doesn't mean it can't go on sale. At VGP, it is 50 Canadian dollars, which is around 36 US dollars. Not bad since it just came out. This is another fine effort from Ubisoft and will be featuring in our Games of the Year list that was voted for by you, when I can be bothered to show it next week. Nier Automata is down to 40 Canadian dollars, which is 29 US dollars. This sale is probably par for the course with some other sites, but if you're buying other games, then why not add this one in as well to make that a free shipping threshold. This is a wonderful action game that has inspired countless others. While the action is good, it's a story that will keep you playing, and to get the true ending, you'll be in for an amazing ride. Persona 5 Royal is down to 45 Canadian dollars, which is 32 US dollars. I saw this a smidge cheaper during Black Friday, but if you missed out on that, this is a nice second chance of getting one of the best JRPGs ever made. Just a really nice price, right? And sticking with Persona 5, the spin-off game, Strikers, is even cheaper, 30 Canadian dollars, which is 22 US bucks. Yeah, that's the jumping on point for this for sure, especially if you're on the fence about the gameplay shift. It's Persona 5, but as a Masu game. How could that possibly go wrong? Record of Lodoss War is quite cheap here too, 35 Canadian dollars, which is 25 US dollars. I've mentioned this already, one of the best games of the year in my opinion. If you like Symphony of the Night, then, well, you probably already have this one. Shin Megami Tensei 3 is always kind of cheap these days. At VGP, it's 25 Canadian dollars, which is 18 US dollars. JRPG fans, just get it right now. I know some say it's not exactly a great HD remaster, but for that price, it's almost essential, right? Unless you just buy the original. Maybe, I don't know. If you need a bigger, newer Shin Megami Tensei, then how about last year's Game of the Year, Shin Megami Tensei 5? At VGP, it is 35 Canadian dollars, which is 25 US dollars. And that's an insane price in my opinion. I don't even need to convince you, the price is enough. Sonic Frontiers may be a fairly recent game, but at VGP it's down to 50 Canadian dollars, which is 36 US dollars. That's not a bad price at all. I'm sure bargain hunters out there will want to wait a little bit longer because it will go down more, of course it will. But some eager to play earlier, it's a nice jumping in point. I've seen opinions all over the place for this, which tells me one thing, is that it's a Sonic game. The excellent Cowabunga Collection is 30 Canadian dollars, 22 US dollars. That's an amazing price for one of the best retro collections out there. Definitely need to pick this up if you haven't already. I'm not even a huge Turtles fan, but I'd pick it up for this price, that's for sure. They do have some other deals, plenty for other consoles as well, so I invite you to go and have a look. I just picked what I thought were the best for the Switch, of course. Remember to click the links in the description. VGP have very affordable shipping to the US, and they even have worldwide free shipping if you spend over 80 Canadian bucks, which is very, very easy with just a couple of these sales here, right? Now, how about imports? It's not often import games have discounts. Well, now we do for at least a short time. I don't know when they're going to end, but, don't hang around. I usually don't pimp PlayAsia's discounts because, let's face it, they're not usually that good. But I picked a few that I think are decent sales, or just cheap anyways. Just a reminder about PlayAsia, they have free shipping over $100, but when there is some kind of special promotion, you probably can't use our discount code SWTV5. Maybe you can try, I don't know, but don't be too confused if you can't enter it. These sales are better than that code anyways, just about. Ender Lilies is a really decent 25 US dollars. This is a Metroidvania masterpiece, at least from what I've been told. Limited Run did this in North America, but that pre-order period is over, and this Japanese version with English is a nice cheap way to go. It has beautiful artwork and the game is fantastic. Koumajou Remilia Scarlet Symphony may be a bit of a mouthful, but it's also a bit of a handful, $26 now. This is a really tough game that makes a side-scrolling Castlevania gothic action with bullet hell boss fights, which will make you want to rip your balls off, which is why it's better for the ladies. Actually, it is a good game if you enjoy that sort of thing. If you enjoy the challenge, check out my review for more information. Moero Crystal H is perhaps the biggest PlayAsia exclusive they've ever done. At least it's the one that we've sold the most of with our affiliates. I think it's like 8th on the overall list. So yeah, A lot of you have it already, but if you don't, now is the chance to pick it up since it's 10% off its normal price. It's now $36 US. This is a super saucy dungeon crawling romp. It will make your nan blush, but it's not only about that because the gameplay, it backs it up as well. If you want to grab something cheeky but not shallow, then it's a good option. They've also discounted some of their other exclusives, mostly the reprints like Ghostblade HD, Shikondo, Scourgebringer, and If My Heart Had Wings, and also The Letter. All of those have 10% off, which is pretty good. Now, the next ones are not part of the Christmas sale, but just some cheap stuff that our code might work on, I'm not sure. Sonic Colors Ultimate, the Asian version with English, is just $13, which is kind of insane. I was going to mention the ESRB version at VGP, but this trumps it all over town. How can you say no to $13? The Japanese version of Little Nightmares is $20 US. That's cheaper than the European version and much cheaper than the American version because America never got this physically. So yeah, for 20 bucks, that's a pretty nice deal. The Japanese version of Disney Magical World 2 is $22 US. It plays in English, and as far as I can see, it is cheaper and more readily available than other regions. Really not a bad price at all if you don't care about which region your Switch games are from. Petoons Party is not a game I would wholeheartedly recommend, but I mention it here because it's an import exclusive with English, and some collectors are interested in getting all of those. And Petoons Party is only $23 right now, one of the cheaper import exclusives thanks to its discount. Again, not a game I would fully recommend for the player, mostly for collectors. I can more easily recommend Lethal League Blaze, however. This is a cheap enough $24 US, which is great for those who want a good import exclusive with English. This is a fighting brawler game that reminds me somewhat of Windjammers, I would say. It comes in a small collector's edition, which is very easy to ding, by the way. I have never ever seen a perfect copy of this. If yours arrives crumpled, well, they're like that. And finally, another fairly cheap import exclusive with English, BQM, which sounds like a hardware store, but it stands for Block Quest Maker. This is where you make your own RPG dungeons in a voxel style, one for the creatives out there. It's now $27, which is not the cheapest, but for import completionists, it's a decent price to grab it. And there we have it. All links are below if you want to pick them up and support us at the same time. Will you be buying any? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget, if you do, when they arrive, take a picture and I'll stick it in the community spotlight in Monday's video. Thanks for your support. Check out the digital bargains yesterday. You won't want to miss that either.